welcome to another episode of Warhammer 40,000. It is 1,500 points, and it is a pure Skitarii army here. Will appear. They're going to take on the Orcs. Both armies have a point to prove. Orcs on a good run at the moment, and Skitarii, fresh army on the channel here. It is a downed pilot. One of the Orc pilots has crashed in this sector of the table, and Orcs have moved in to retrieve the pilot, but they've crossed paths with a Skitarii Battle Maniple. So the two sides will collide here across this jungle. Terrain beginning to spring up across the table here, nice and lush, rocky outcrops, and then in the centre of the table is the burning wreck of the downed Orc Blitzer bomber. Over here, Imperial ammunition dump just in the other end of the table, but it'll be here that Orcs will do battle with the Skitarii. Right, so 1,500 points of Orcs here. Gutrippa will take control of the force, so slightly smaller than the regular 15-point army. The Gorkanaut, it will not appear in this force here, but 3 units of Orc boys taken as troops. No power claws here, just knocking points off to bring the army down to 1,500 points. Big choppers, boss pole and boss for each of those units of 10. They're all with heavy armour as well. They're all inside trucks with reinforced rams and rocket launchers. Gutrippa just there to lead the army. Then Innards, the weird boy, has made it in. And then here Zog has made it in to the army as well. And he keeps his power claw and 6 other bikers with him. He'll just play as a regular Orc boss for that unit. Then the main point saving was dropping the Gorkanaut. We've managed to keep both units of tank busters at full strength, 2 units of 8, boss and boss pole for each of them. But the number of squigs has been dropped just to keep the points down. 2 squigs of the unit on the right, 1 squig with this unit just here. And then inside the battle wagon, the shuttle bus, that is reinforced ram on there, 4 rocket launchers for that. And then inside there, the numbers been brought down to a unit of 3 this time. Killsword Carl still remains as a boss pole on the boss leader there as well. So just a few points short of 1,500 points here for the Orcs. They are hoping to steamroller the Skitarii here. If they continue their good run, then they can make a bid for the higher positions, higher places available on the channel. But we'll see how well they do. They haven't encountered a full Skitarii Battle Maniple yet in battle. Right, so 1,500 points of Skitarii here. Excited to field the army. Now, a lot of work's gone into it here, and just really working on the Imperial Knight to finish the army up to 1,850 points. But as far as the Skitarii units are concerned, the army's pretty much finished. So good to see them on the field of battle. They're up against Orcs here, an army on the rise, so it'll be a tough challenge for them. We'll have to see how well suited they are for taking on Orcs. I reckon Skitarii perhaps one of the better counter-attacking armies, but we'll have to see. It's all theoretical at the moment. We have not much better experience with these. James will take command. So in the last game we played, there was 1 Onagar Dune Crawler. There are 3 of them now uniting together in 1 unit. That will grant them a 4+ invuln save in shooting and in close combat. So it's a stronger unit this time around. All 3 equipped with the Icarus array. No flyers. Maybe it was them that brought down the Orc fly. they're the ones that saw it flying overhead and brought it down with their automated systems, and perhaps have drawn the Orcs out into this area. Could be a trap, perhaps. But I have geared them up for combat here. All 3 of them are carrying Cognis Manipulators. That will be granted it will not die, and their close combat attacks will be at strength 10. AP1, so nasty, potentially a nasty unit there. A low amount of attacks, but on the charge they could be pretty nasty, so multiple functions available for them. Then just to mention before going on to the other units, this is a Skitarii Battle Maniple, so it's a formation we're taking here. All of the unit slots been taken up here. Number of benefits, reroll the command trait there. Units within 12 of these Onagars get leadership 10, and then also Crusader and Scout granted to all of the units as well. So other units here, new unit here, debut for them, Sidonian Dragoons, unit of 2, and they have Taser Lancers, then a unit of Ruststalkers, There's a Princeps in there with a data spike, and then the unit is armed with Core Claws, Mind Scrambler grenades, and then Transonic Razors as well. We've seen how good they can be in the previous battle report that featured Skitarii. Then the Infiltrators, here a unit of 7 of those. They're armed with Flechette Blasters and Taser Goads, all this new weaponry to learn here for the Skitarii. It's a completely fresh army to use. Then a unit of Vanguard here, 2 Plasma Calivers inside this unit. Then the Princeps there has a Phosphor Blast pistol, and then an Arc Maul as well for him. Then just to mention for these, there's an Omnispecs in there as well. Omnispecs for this unit of Rangers, 2 Arc Rifles for them, Arc Pistol here, Arc Maul for the leader as well. So just discussing the units here, there's a nasty punch, a lot of them. I think they're a good counter-attacking army, which may be very well suited to the Orcs style of play. We'll have to see. They were short of 1,500 points, so I've spent out on some relics as well, just to boost the army up to 1,500. So we gave Phosphenix here to this Princeps. That's just going to be a strength 5, 3 shots, poison free plus AP2 pistol for him. Then the Omniscient Mask has gone to this unit. That's Zealot Fearless for those. And then finally the Phase Taser here. A wound caused requires an initiative test. If it's fouled, then the model is removed from play. Just a few bonuses there, just to push the army up to 1,500 points. But there it is. 1,500 points of Skitarii getting ready to rumble against the Orcs. Okay, so on to mission. Here it is. The relic here with some slight adjustments to the rules. So Mayday signal has gone out over the radio here. Pilots come crashing down, and then the pilot has survived and sent out a distress signal. So S.O.S. here. Save our squigs. No, save this Orc down pilot here. Believe that he is actually a relative of Gutrippa, so all the more incentive here for Gutrippa to try and rescue him. But he's in the terrain here. He's just behind this bush round there. We'll go around and take a look at him in a moment. But he's in the centre of the table. Usual rules for Relic, except we will be rolling a random dice. He's disorientated, and he'll be potentially on the move. He may well move randomly around the table before he's rescued. So just to mention deployment zones, here it is Vanguard Strike. So line of dice running down the table here. Orcs are deploying on this side of the table, looking out in this direction, and then over the other side the Skitarii will be just over there, just where the Imperial Guard ammunition dump is. Right, so there's the downed pilot. We're not sure where the miniatures came from. He was picked up at a gaming show that we went to. I don't think it's a Games Workshop miniature, but we saw him, and then I think it was a freebie being given away, actually. Yeah, it was a Salute, and the show there in the UK. We picked him up. It was a freebie being handed out, and then got him painted up. I think he suits the Orc army very well, but a distant relative there of Gutrippa, looking to be picked up and saved before the Skitarii can get their hands on him. Apparently, he is carrying important information about the new Imperial Fist army, so some important information there that needs to be retrieved by the Orcs and not fall into Skitarian hands. So, Orc pilot just tucked in here. He may well stay there, or he may well move. Disorientated, we're just not sure what direction he'll head towards. But we'll go on to deployment now for both of these forces. We'll see how they deploy. Orcs have won the dice roll. They will get to go first, unless the Skitarii can seize initiative. Right, so just to mention the battle mat that we use in this game, it's called Meadows of War. It's by GameMat.eu, and it's sort of a green effect here with the grassland and rocks, and then some areas have got this broken up ground here, some broken ground here, some shrubbery, some scrub, and then some rocks. You can see here these are the printed rocks on the battle mat, and then these are our loose rocks that we've put on top, and they blend in perfectly. So it's an excellent battle mat, 6x4 in size. It's made from that mouse mat rubber material, so nice and soft on your gaming figures, not going to get chipped and so on if they fall over. Nice and quiet for when you're rolling the dice, and then the mat just rolls up easily when you've finished. So it's an excellent surface for them putting your gaming terrain on top. So you can check that out. It's GameMat.eu. They produce these battle mats. Right, so deployment done here. Orcs have deployed in their sector right up to the line here. Tank busters on this side, anchoring the right-hand side of the battlefield for the Orcs. Then unit of Orc boys here, here. Then Gutrippa has joined the Meganobs, and also the Warboss joined them. And Ed Banger and the Jump available for him. So no Power Vomit this game. He's been prescribed some seasickness tablets that seem to be working. He doesn't feel as sick this time around. Unit of Orc boys just there, and then a unit of Orc tank busters anchoring the left. So tank busters on either flank, and then the Orc bikers just staying out of trouble here. Zog just sitting at the back. Going to wait and see what he decides to do. But through the jungle, just here, the Orc pilot is just behind the bushes there. Skitarii deploying on the other side. We'll go around and take a look at their deployment. Right, so this is the angle here for the Skitarii looking up the table. They're just anticipating the Orcs moving out aggressively, and no reserves this time for James. He's deployed all his units on the table. So Rangers just here. They are just behind the 2 Dragoons. Then anchoring the middle will be the 3 Onagar Dune Crawlers, then behind them the Infiltrators and the Rush Stalkers taking up position, and then finally just on the right hand side is the unit of Rangers. So Skitarii deployed here, looking through here across to the Orcs deployed across the other side of the table. It's fascinating this time. I'm just not sure what's going to happen. This is all a new experience here, taking on a Skitarii Battle Maniple. James, not much experience of these either, so it's going to be a real learning curve here. Perhaps an opportunity for the Orcs to stomp ahead and take on these Skitarii in the first few turns of the game. If that's wise, we'll have to see. We'll go on to the first turn here of the game. Okay, so that's deployment done. Before we go into the first turn of the game, we'll let James make his mind up about scout moves. This whole formation here gets scouts, so we'll see what James decides to do with that option. It is night fighting, but night fighting will kick in turn 5 onwards. So that will be towards the end of the game. All right, so just discussing scout moves here. James is not going to scout. If you do use the scout rule, then units are not allowed to charge. And if the Orcs are right on top of the Skitarii, because there's not too much distance here, then his units that do scout would not be allowed to charge. That may well be a big disadvantage. So no scout manoeuvring whatsoever. That means we're going to go into the first turn, which will go with the Orcs. They're looking to retrieve their pilot here, unless James can intervene by seizing the initiative. We'll let him roll.
Orcs did it last time. Let's see.
Yeah, we've had a number of seize initiatives in our games. On a 1, no. So it will be Orcs going first. Gutrippa gives the order to roll out here. They're going to try and take on a Skitarii Battle Maniple. Alright, so movement phase here for the Orcs, and they've gone full steam ahead, moving out here. Sort of heading evenly across the table here, pushing up towards the Skitarii position. Swinging around here 6 inches, we are within range 24. Nice tasty target there against the Sidonian Dragoons. Then moving through cover here and passing dangerous terrain with this unit of Orc boys. This one pushing through as well. 12 inches. Bikers pushing up behind, 12 inches moved here with Gutrippa and his squad in the battle wagon. These guys moving from here to here, no dangerous terrain needed for them. Then passing dangerous terrain here for the Orc boys, moving up 12 and then 6 inches moved up. Then just swinging around with the tank busters there and then swinging the turret round on the looted wagon just to get within 24 inches to fire that big gun at the unit of Skitarii Rangers just there. So that is it. We will go into shooting phase now. There's nothing really the weird boy can do with his witch firepower moved too far inside the battle wagon. So on to shooting phase next for the Orcs on turn 1. Okay, so Orc shooting phase here. Just capturing this one on camera. We have fired the kill cannon. Did get a hit, penetrating hit, but James passing a cover save there with his incense cloud and obscured target anyway. But one of the Vanguard killed in the blast. That's that strength 7 AP free shot coming through. Just trying to soften the target up. Tank busters have a chance here, a slight chance of getting Glory Hog's first blood. They are within range of the Sidonian Dragoons. So have a go. Here's 8 shots. If we get a load of hits, there could be trouble. So 5s and 6s, just the one. Sometimes they hit a load, sometimes they don't hit much at all. And then strength 8, it's 9, 10, 11. There's actually a glance. James's armor 11. And a 5-up save, no. It's just 1 hull point coming through. It could have been a whole lot worse there, but the tank busters have failed to impress with that round of shooting. Just 1 hull point coming through. We'll do the rest of the shooting here for the Orcs and some flat out moves as well. Right, so shooting phase here for the Orcs. Not too much damage coming through. Deciding to hold here with these, just trying to keep a safe distance from the Skitarii. Just the danger. I don't want to get charged by multiple Skitarii units. They're all got an anti-tank capability there, so do have to be careful. So just holding here, so we're sort of within striking range here for the Orcs. So not moving flat out here with the Orc trucks, firing their rockets instead. The Honor Guard Dune Crawlers not getting any hits. Not moved here as well, just fired and got no hits as well with the battle wagon. Bikers holding position. We saw the firing down here from the tank busters, and across here the other tank buster unit scattered there with the kill cannon shot. We fired there against the Rangers, but some hits, 2 casualties being caused. That was rocket fire from the tank busters inside. They got a few hits, and then firing the rocket and not moving flat out there with the Orc truck on the left hand side as well. So Orcs slowing down, advancing at speed and then slowing down in the sight of this Skitarii Battle Maniple. It's interesting. Orcs just trying to weigh up the best options of how to deal. How to deal with this formation here. James is deployed together. Fighting in fighting in coherency here. It's made the formation stronger. If James had strung out, perhaps the Orcs could have swung around and picked off units, but James is deployed in strength and in depth, and that has put the Orcs off from making a headlong charge. Perhaps wisdom here and battle experience from Gutrippa. He's charged in headlong before, and it has cost him dearly. So he's holding off here, but just within sight of the downed Orc pilot, we've actually rolled for him here, and he has actually decided to move 3 inches towards the Skitarii, perhaps joining in the attack, not realising that he's the one that's meant to be rescued. We'll end the turn there for the Orcs. There's no combats here. Maybe they're in a vulnerable position. We're going to get to see what the Skitarii do next. Will James attack? We'll have to see. We're going to go on to the first turn next for the Skitarii. Right, so on to Skitarii turn 1 here. Looks like James is going to go aggressive. I think if he's going to go aggressive, he's going to need to do it with the whole army. So we may well see an early... Oh, he is advancing.
Ignores dangerous.
Yeah, you just move straight through them. Honor Guard Dune Crawlers advancing as well. Big bases, they're quite hard to move together. But impressive as a unit of 3. Did like the idea of unit of 3 there. James just knocking the barrels out of the way. Just there. So yeah, discussing tactics here. So much to learn with the Skitarii here, how best to use them. Can definitely see the potential in the force. There's no doubt about that. Some very powerful units, and units that we reckon are well suited to taking on Orcs. You can imagine that the finished army, perhaps, when it reaches 1850 points of an Imperial Knight in the middle there, adding even more strength to that formation. But James on the move here. So James continuing his move here. Sardonian Dragoons moving around aggressively. They've got that extra 3 inches there for June's Strider, so 9 inches moved by them, but still some distance away from Orc targets. Difficult for James. He does need to be aggressive because it is a relic game. You can't let the Orcs capture the relic. They'll win there. So James does need to be aggressive to challenge the relic, deny it to the Orcs, or to capture it himself. Here's the view that the Skitarii have. Seeing the Orc advance coming up against them. Okay, so that's movement done. James holding back here with a fair amount of his force. The Vanguard holding, well, just spreading out but not advancing. And then the Rush Stalkers and Infiltrators holding back, so not advancing here. I think James wants to get the counterattack with them and not to be charged. Let the Orcs choose their targets. I think that's the plan. Being bold here with the Dune Crawlers. We'll have to see how well they weather the Orc tide advancing towards them, and Rangers being very aggressive as well, but one of the softer targets there for the Skitarii, so we'll see if they can survive. We'll go on to shooting phase next. James has gone for +1 ballistic skill this turn. Alright, so shooting phase here. James is going to fire the Honor Guard Dune Crawlers. They've got Icarus arrays here. Now James will need 6s to hit ground targets. There's no jet bikes, flyers here, flying monstrous creatures. So deprived there of their regular targets, but still James can find any snapshots. He's going to go after this Orc transport here. Thinking what he's going to try and do. He's going to try and destroy the target and then ambush them here with the Rangers. So we'll fire the autocannons first. Now there should be strength here. James has 3 of the models here, so 6 shots with these, twin linked, so needing 6s. He does get 3 6s. James will be happy with that. Just looking here, so they are strength 7 shots coming through, armour of 10.
Open topped as well.
And open topped.
So that bounces. And
yeah, 2 penetrating hits, so that's not bad at all. We'll let him fire the next. There's 3 different types of weapons here. It's all part of the Icarus array. Yeah, next one then is the Gatling rocket launcher. In total for this unit, it's going to get 15 shots. So even on snap fire, the weight of shots these things can throw out still makes them a pretty good unit. So 6s here. These aren't twin linked, but I can see James has got another 3 hits. You can't underrate the firepower. They're all range 48 as well. And he's still got the Daedalus missile launcher to fire as well. Which is 3 shots, needing 6s. A couple of cocked dice there. Nothing. Okay. So they'll all be the same. The hits that came through are all AP4. So we've seen James get 2 penetrating hits. He's got 3 other hits. We'll see if they can go through. So let him roll up those 3 dice. Armour of 10. So 2 glancing hits, yeah. So 2 glancing hits coming through, 2 penetrating hits from earlier. So we'll roll up. Well, there is no cover saves for that vehicle, so it is destroyed. Let James roll 2 dice. Yeah, it's open topped. Any 6s here, and we'll see an explodes result. So 6s here. Oh, 6 and a 5. So debut shooting here from this combined unit, and it has made one of the Orc trucks here explode violently. Good shooting there, even on snap fire. Just the hail of firepower coming through has destroyed the Orc truck. 35 points destroyed. We'll roll up here to see how far it explodes. I don't think it's going to cause any trouble, but we'll roll up for the guys inside. 3 inches. Okay. Right, so results there. 2 of the Orc boys, random allocation, just 2 regular Orc boys killed. They've had to deploy within the template of where the vehicle was. So James definitely within shooting, decent shooting range, possibly melee as well on the charge. It would be a stretch, but James will get to let loose a volley here with the Rangers with their strength 4 AP4 weapons. So there's potential here to cause trouble for this Orc boy squad. They have passed pinning test, so they are okay, but they're going to expect some firepower now to come through from the Rangers. Alright, so rest of the shooting phase done here. Pretty good ambush fire coming through here. Number of the Rangers in range with their rapid fire weapons and causing a number of casualties. James got an Auspex in there, so -1 to cover saves there for the Orc boys. There's only 4 of them left. Precision shots coming through, but a successful lookout saved a wound coming through on the Orc knob. They passed morale on a 3, but their number's been reduced down to just a unit of 4 now. Okay, so shooting phase down, just all the firepower really coming down this valley of death here, and James picking on this unit of Orc boys and pretty successfully knocking them down. So on to charges. He wants to charge here at that target. Be interesting to see if that makes it in. There's a chance. And then also the Rangers, James will try and charge as well. Okay, so charges, attempts made. Rangers failed to make it in. It was a stretch for them. They would have had to go through the wreck and the rubble there, so difficult for them. And then going through the terrain here as well, just measuring up. James not rolling enough there, needing a 12, getting a 9, even with the +3 to his charge roll. So failure to charge here, but first blood scored. James picks up a point. So whatever the result of this game, James will not be on 0. He's definitely guaranteed a point here with first blood. Have to say,
I'm quite impressed.
Yeah, I think flexible army likes the maniple formation here. Honor guards have impressed it, even on Snapfire. The amount of shots they get is quite terrifying.
Flyers are dead.
Yeah, and the flyers are dead. That's the whole idea of taking them, is to deny the sky to the opponent. No need to deny the sky here in this scenario. All of the Orc flyers are down on the ground here. But we'll go on to the second turn now for the Orcs. Very, very interesting. Wondering what the Orcs are going to do. Do they take the fight right to the Skitarii and take that risk? James heavy on reserves here. Units being held at the back. Some nasty combat units that can shred the Orcs. Or do we attack in measure? That's a decision that Gutrippa's going to have to make. Going to need some battlefield experience here to help him out as they try and rescue this Orc pilot. Okay, so movement for the Orcs here on turn 2. Shifting across 6 inches here with the tank busters. Getting lined up here to take on the Sidonian Dragoons. Just an opportunity to take them out before they get a chance to charge. Then declaring a war this turn. And turning and then moving 6 inches. Disembarking here with this unit of Orc boys. I think the Orc policy now is to stop mucking about and just get stuck in. So we're going to go after the Skitarii now. Orc boys here, moving through dangerous terrain for a wreck and passing there, no problems. 2 units of Orc boys, the weaker unit here, and a fresh unit getting ready to charge in against the Rangers. Then moving in here, some of the Orc boys units here, the bikers, one of them able to get within base contact of the relic, who didn't move this turn. He's stood still. We've just been rolling a scatter dice for the relic and a d6, and if a hit is scored, then he doesn't move. If an arrow is scored, then he moves the relevant number of inches. Just livens up the game a little bit, and to show that it is a living relic that has a mind of its own, no matter how small that mind may be. So the bikers, one of them's made into base contact. So we've moved 12 to reach the relic, but we'll be restricted to 6 inches movement and no running. Turbo boosting allowed from now on if we're to hold the relic. So it's good, tactically a good position here for the Orcs, but everyone's very close to each other. But the Skitarii aren't far away, they're very close indeed. Gutrippa's gone for the brave option here. He's joined the unit of Mega Knobs. Weird Boys joined them as well, and they're getting ready to try and charge the Onagartune Crawlers. That will be an interesting encounter indeed. 12 inches moved with the Orc Boys on the far left. Moving 6 inches through with the tank busters in support. Battle wagons just shifted up there, where just moving up before Gutrippa and his squad disembarked. So that's it. So Zog there, sitting at the back. That's why he was held at the back, to seize the relic just there. So pretty good from the Orcs. It's looking pretty healthy here. We're going to Psychic Phase next for the Orcs on turn 2. Right, so Psychic Phase done here. It was weird. The Weird Boy here firing Frazzle went through, but scattered away and missed. We're trying to go after the Rust Stalkers here. Then we played Edbanger. It went off, and we went after the Princeps here, the Warlord. You can see a wound on there. James failed a toughness test. I think he gets Lookout So, which he failed as well. Failed an invuln save, and then failed Feel No Pain as well. So an apparition, an image of the Weird Boy appeared, and then headbutted the Princeps, and then disappeared again, and has half killed him. So I think that's the first time I've done that. So pretty good there from the Weird Boy. That is Psychic Phase done. We will now go on to Shooting Phase for the Orcs on turn 2. Right, so Shooting Phase here for the Orcs. We'll come back to these here. We'll give them a second chance to see if they can take out the Sidonian Dragoons. They'll need to. We don't want to get that unit charged by them. So Squigs have been released there, so we'll fire those 2. They will need 2 pluses, and then also we're going to get 6 shots with regular rocket launchers as well. So Squigs hit, nicely within 18 inches. 2s to hit, yes. Then the rockets here, 6 shots in 5s. Absolutely brilliant. You can't ask for any better. But we're just going to hold it there. James said, don't press that. We do need to do that roll. Don't get a 1. Oh, you stupid. Someone pressed the button. Some idiot pressed the button there, and they're going to have to lurch ahead with this one. So what could have been is not going to happen. We'll roll on the other side. Don't get a 1. No, okay, so the others have not pressed buttons, but stupid Orcs pressing buttons inside. They're going to lurch ahead here with a looted wagon. It's because it's an Imperial control system inside, and they don't know what buttons to press, so their stupid fat green fingers are pressing all different buttons, and they've lurched ahead. So we'll bypass that then. We will roll up or move here straight ahead with this don't press that special roll. Dear oh dear, right, we just rolled there for difficult terrain. You have to go straight ahead. Almost immobilised ourselves after pressing the buttons. So what disaster here. Shame. But that's the risk you take when you use looted wagons. Alright, so Shooting Phase finished here. Disastrous down here. I've had to move 6 inches into cover. Almost got immobilised, but they're a sitting duck now for the Sidonian Dragoons. So good turn up for them. They're going to get that unit combined. I mean, there is Overwatch there. There is a danger for that unit, but 8 attacks potentially on the charge, and then with 6s they've got extra hits as well. They'll be at strength 8, so dangerous unit that, potentially. Only 45 points a model, so pretty cheap. But here, pistol fire from the Orc boys before they go in has caused 2 casualties there on the Rangers. They passed morale, leadership 10 for being within 12 inches of the Dune Crawlers. So that is shooting phase done. Rocket fire coming through, sporadic fire there, wildly inaccurate, not causing any hits at all, trying to fire at the Rust Stalkers at the back. That is it. Bikers, no target, can't run with them. So we'll go on to assaults. So the focus is around here. These 2 units of Orc boys are going to charge in here against the Rangers, and then Gutrippa and his squad are going to charge in against the Honor Guard Dune Crawlers just there. We'll roll up these charges next. Alright, so charges have gone ahead here. It's all gone according to plan. No damage on Overwatch here. 1 wound caused. Daedalus missile launcher hit. Did cause a wound there on one of the Mega Knobs, but other than that, Gutrippa and his squad have made it in, and all the Orc boys have made it in against the Rangers. So trouble here for the Skitarii. We'll see how well the Honor Guard Dune Crawlers stand up against the Gutrippa attack. Not many units have been able to resist them, but James has some defences, 9 hull points to try and get through there. James isn't open topped, and he can fight back there with his Cognis manipulators, so we'll see what happens. Maybe, I'm thinking those walkers aren't going to run. If they survive and pin Gutrippa in place, you could see an epic counter-attack. Yeah, James is pointing to the Rust Stalkers, so it needs to go very well here for the Orcs, so there could be trouble. So we'll go on to assaults, we'll get these resolved. Okay, so we're going to do this combat here. It's quite epic. Cognis manipulators, they are unwieldy, so James is going to strike initiative 1. Will be initiative 1. There's no changes to take place. We're saying that James can fight with all 3, and we can do damage to all 3. That's how we're going to play it. Weird Boy here will get to go first. His initiative, and he will get 3 attacks and 1 for charging. Strength 7 with Furious Charge, so he possibly can do some damage. Okay, so James' weapon skill 3. So freeze to hit here with Weird Boy. 3 hits. 5s and 6s are good. We get a penetrating hit, but James gets a 4+ invuln save first of all, which he passes on a 5. So far they weathered the storms. Now it's all going to be simultaneous. Maybe we'll let James strike back. He wants to get hits. He must get hits. 3 dice. 4s or more. Any 4s would be very happy. He gets 2 and a potentially cocked dice. Yeah, alright, we'll let him re-roll it. If he gets another 4. Oh dear, right, come on. No, okay, so 2 hits, 2s for kills.
Yep.
Here at strength 10, you just get a 1. Okay, so I think we're allowed to just put that onto the unit, the model that's already taken a wound, so one of the Orc Mega Knobs is dead. He will get to strike back, but James has killed 1. Just that. Right, so we're going to be asking James to make multiple invuln saves here as the attacks come through. We'll let Gutrippa start the proceedings here. So 3s for hits from him. Little squig is going to bite some cables. Oh, he always does.
Always.
Well done. Hooligan, the squig. And then Shred's not going to count here, but strength 10. So 4 invuln saves for James to make. Can he absorb these hits coming through? I'll just let him roll off camera here. He's passed 1. That's it. Alright, so one of those gone. It is AP2, so better roll up some results. I think we do results at this stage. We do have an explodes result, so he's detonated. Gutrippa detonates 1 and encourages the Mega Knobs to copy him as he tries to destroy these things. So that one's gone up and exploded. We'll figure that out. Yes, James's invuln now save now drops to 5 up. I think we're simultaneous, so we keep it 4+. Because it's simultaneous. Yeah, alright, so we'll keep going here at 4+ invuln. So we'll let Kyle fight now. He's actually on 3 attacks, 1 for weapons, 1 for charging. So we're going to say the blast here. We're going to resolve all of that simultaneous as well. Just getting these results coming through. So Kyle next. Freeze to hit. Oh, Kyle! 4 5s and a 6. Armor Bane hit. Armor Bane from him. We'll add an extra d6 to that. That'll be strength 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a glance. We'll let James roll that one to try and save it. Nope. She doesn't. And then 4 penetrating hits to try and save as well.
No,
just saved us another one gone.
Penetrating hit on that one.
Okay, so results. Another one detonates. We'll say it's that one there. and then a penetrating hit here to roll up. Carl almost detonated that. Okay. Right, then the 2 regular Mega Knobs, 3 attacks each, and charged is 4 attacks. 3s. Just the 3 hits. Ooh. 2 glances. James passes either of these. He survives. Passes one of them. One of the walkers has survived the combat. Alright, so combat resolved here is a bit messy. James saying he needs an Imperial Knight. You can imagine if it was just here. Oh, it would make a big difference, yeah. So I'll have to get painting that one. So we've resolved this. We think we've done it right. So James suffering a weapon destroyed result and 2 hull points on this one. Its save drops to a 6+ invuln, but it's still alive. Because it's survived, James doesn't run, and it's pulled Gutrippa and the squad in. And look what's waiting for him, all of these. So James, in his wisdom, he's used these 2 units before. Real potential with them, yeah, tactical reserve, playing like a proper Roman general here. It's getting ready to take out Gutrippa. It was probably worth him. Gutrippa's clearing the way for the Orcs to pull back with the relic, but it's not safe yet. There's no way. These are fast Skitarii units, so Orcs need to be careful. There's this combat here to resolve as well. We'll get this one resolved next. Just also to mention the 2 explodes results. James's Princeps here took a wound. He lost one of the Rangers here as well that was carrying the arc rifle. We took a wound also on one of the Mega Knobs as well. So just a bit of damage coming through there. An Orc boy was killed as well, but we'll get this combat resolved next. Alright, so James has accepted a challenge here with his Princeps. The Orc Knobs moved in with his big chopper. James will get to go first. So James gets to go first here. 2 attacks, combat weapon and pistol, 3 attacks. So 4s for hits for James here. He just gets the 1. He'll be at strength 5.
AP4.
And AP4.
Freeze. Nope.
A 1.
Concussive,
Failed.
though.
It's concussive. Okay.
So it's initiative 1 for him.
So we will get to fight. No, we'll let James's guys fight next. They're the higher initiative. Right, okay, yeah, just discussing concussive here. So that is an impact straight away.
Yeah, it's an impact straight away.
So it knocks him down. He would have fought, but he doesn't now. He's going to have to wait till the end.
Character.
Yes, so the rest of the fighting here. James fighting next with initiative 3. The rest of his guys, 4 attacks. He can split them between the 2 units. So 2 attacks against the small Orc unit just there.
2 hits.
2 hits, 5 wounds. James just rolling off camera here. Nope, nothing. And then 2 attacks here on the larger Orc boys unit.
Yes.
Nothing at all. Right, so Orc boys here. We need a bucket here to put our dice in. There's a load of dice going to come through with attacks. Alright, so we just quickly resolved that the Orc boys, it was so many attacks there. James just overwhelmed with just loads and loads of hits and failing saves there. So wiped out there before the Orc Knob even got to strike there with his big chopper. So Orc boys climbing all over the Rangers and destroying them. 2 inches moved, consolidation moved with them. Then 4 inches here, we've formed a screen. It's like a riot shield line, just trying to keep the Skitarii units from advancing too far forward, just trying to screen the pilot. He must be worth something. A lot of Orc boys are going to die here protecting this Orc fighter ace. Maybe he's an ace. Maybe he's the best pilot on the planet for the Orcs, and that's why he's being protected. But the Orc boy is going to form a screen here. Not sure how long they'll last. But Orcs have advanced to here, and they may well be content with not going any further. The objective is to secure the relic, which they're doing at the moment. But can they continue to hold the relic? We'll have to see. Skitarii units, a number of them poised to attack here. Skitarii have been dented. There's no doubt about that. They've taken a lot of damage. But here is their chance to counter-strike against the Orcs. We'll see what they can do as we go on to the second turn next for the Skitarii. Okay, so movement on turn 2 now for the Skitarii. So Dragoons have swung around here, getting ready to charge into the side of the looted wagon. Squigs on the loose there, you can see them just moving around the feet of these tall striding machines. And then coming over here, James getting ready for his counter-attack with some decent units. So some fire support coming in from the Vanguard, they're moving in, getting ready to lay down some fire there. Then the Infiltrators moving in, looks like they're going after that unit of Orc boys. And then closing in on Gutrippa and his squad. is the Rust Stalkers unit of 8 of them. So a strong unit. And we have seen how deadly they can be in the past, and they're lining up for a charge here. Perhaps to try and rescue the Honor Guard Dune Crawler. We'll have to see. If James can wipe out Gutrippa and his squad, then that vehicle should be saved. That is about it. There's a fair chunk of the Skitarii army has been dented here, but they've got some decent reserves on the table and in striking distance. So no psychic phase. We'll go on to shooting phase next for the Skitarii on turn 2. James, for Doctrine Imperatives, has gone for +1 weapon skill this turn. Alright, so shooting phase here for the Skitarii. Pretty good with the infiltrators firing through. A number of Orc boys being dropped, their morale being passed on a reroll, thanks to Gutrippa being within 12. But bring the front rank of the boys down there. Then the Vanguard firing through the units, but -1 to James's cover. From the Auspex inside that unit has brought the boys squad down to just 1 wounded knob left. James did get a load of plasma caliber hits, but rolled 4 1s to wound out of 5. But a wounded knob there, and that's all that's left of that unit. Hadn't actually done morale for him, so better roll that up here. So it'll be a 7, which we pass. So he's still in the fight, but he's on his own and wounded. So not too bad from shooting. Combat's next for the Skitarii on turn 2. Okay, so just discussing assaults here. James is going to charge in there. We will get to do Overwatch with the tank busters, a chance perhaps to take these down before they reach in combat. And then over here, the Infiltrators are going to charge against the boys, and they're going to join the ongoing combat there with the Rust Stalkers. A chance here to destroy these lead Orc units in combat. Roll up some charges next, and Overwatch. Okay, so assaults here. One of the Dune Striders was destroyed. That was a glancing and penetrating hit coming through and taking out that one there. That was the closest. This one here that does already have a hull point did survive. So that has made it into base contact against the tank busters just there. Then over here, charges have gone ahead as planned. Infiltrators making it in. No damage from Overwatch. And then the Rust Stalkers have contacted Gutrippa there. He could be in a lot of trouble. We'll have to see. We'll roll up some of these combats next. Alright, so combats here. We're going to do this one here. It's a big fight, an important one. Orcs need to survive this. So James charging in. He's issued a challenge with the Princeps, and we've accepted. He did challenge Gutrippa, but Gutrippa sent in one of the Meganobs to fight instead. Cunning is not cowardice, it's cunning here from the Ripper. Mine Scrambler Grenades here for James. He is going to get to fight first on all levels, so we'll get that resolved first of all. Orcs have to survive here. We'll let James roll up his challenge attacks first of all. Alright, so James, it's Omniscient Mask here, so his Zealot's going to get to reroll hit. So Data Spike attack first. This is initiative 10. It's just 1 dice for that one. Freeze for hits because his weapon skill is +1. So his weapon skill 5. Yeah. Does get the hit. And then Strength 5, so on the charge. Nothing. Okay. Right, so 5 other attacks coming in next. We'll do this attacks in the challenge here. So freeze to hits, reroll. Gosh, very good. Can't underestimate these. Okay. And then freeze to wound. 6s will be transonic, which will become AP2. A double 6. James is starting to like Skitarii here. We do have an overflow of wounds, which we'll put on Killsword Kyle, who rolls a double 1. Dear oh dear. That's unbelievable. This is a hero's being made here. He's brought down Killsword Kyle and one of these Meganobs as well. That's devastating here for the Orcs. A bad start for them, and still a ton more of Zealot attacks to come through. Alright, so the next one we're going to do is Cord Claw. Each one of these 7 remaining Rust Stalkers here has a Cord Claw. They're going to do those separately. So they're on freeze to hit, but re-rolls for Zealot. Yeah, it's a good upgrade actually, isn't it?
It's a very good upgrade.
Yeah. And, okay. So these Cord Claw will be on 2s to wound. 6s are good. James rolled another 6 here and a load of saves. Alright, so we'll figure out who's going to take these. Yeah, trouble here. Weird Boy will take this hit, I reckon. Or maybe... Yeah, maybe Gutrippa should take it, just with his feel no pain. This is getting kind of awkward here. We'll let Gutrippa take this one. He's just going to have to survive some of these. 5 he does, right, so that's that AP2 dealt with. I think Gutrippa's going to have to take these on his save. These are AP5 hits coming through. We'll try and save him on his 4+. He saves 2. And then his Feel No Pain kicking in. Saves another. So just one wound taken on Gutrippa. Just there. Alright, so remaining attacks now with the Transonic Razors. Okay, so Gutrippa keeping the Orcs' hopes alive here. His bodyguard's been stripped away, trying to protect the weird boy. So roll up his 21 attacks with Zealot. Weapon skill 5.
It's forced to hit, rerolls.
Forced to hit now, yeah, because majority weapon skill. So Zealot's going to be handy. It's worth the points, especially with a larger unit.
Oh, reroll that 3.
Almost perfect. Yeah, just three hits, 3 dice missing there, but the rest have hit. Majority toughness is 5 now. We've got Gutrippa. James is Furious Charge, so he'll be on 4s to wound. 6s are good. Oh, this could be the end. Yeah. He's got a load of 6s. Okay, I think the way we're playing it, James gets to say which type we're meant to save first. He wants me to save the regulars. He's going to save the AP2s, probably for Gutrippa at the end. It's going to take some good dice rolling here. Just going to have to tank these on to Gutrippa. Just have a sense this is not a good idea. 4s. Oh no, disaster. I think Gutrippa's dead. Feel No Pains. Awful, yeah, and Overflow. The weird boy is dead as well. James has 4 AP2 hits to spare. So, Gutrippa. Well, look here. Hang on a second, right, because Gutrippa's fallen, but they're underneath the walker. There is that crater. I imagine he'd fall and roll inside the crater amongst the dead bodies and survive. So, yeah, I reckon he'll survive. Be wounded to be retrieved later on. But as far as this game is concerned, Gutrippa is out. He's been overtaken here by Rust Stalkers and their Transonic Razors. So the Tactica seems to be paying off here. It was the idea was to take a larger unit to deal out that kind of destruction. A smaller unit wouldn't have killed all of the Orcs and they would have struck back, but a large enough unit's wiped out the threat, and then therefore no casualties are going to come through. James is saying a lethal unit here. They're fearless, they're zealot, they're armed to the teeth, and a new hero born here as well. Really helping out in this combat. So excellent result there for the Rust Stalkers. We'll let James consolidate with those and go on to the next combat. Right, so other combat's resolved here. The infiltrators bursting through the Orc boys. Just there was a challenge. James accepted. James issued a challenge with the Princeps. The Knob accepted and hacked him down with a big chopper at strength 6. It was instant death. And then Orc boys fighting. It was simultaneous. Our initiative being brought down to 1. James going through cover. Initiative 1 as well. The Orc boys brought down another one of the infiltrators just there. But then James striking back there with 24 attacks, 18 extra hits there from the taser weaponry, and just tons and tons of saves to make there at 2s to wound. A ridiculous amount, just blew the Orcs away, vaporised and electrocuted, their stunned bodies twitching on the ground as the infiltrators push forward. So excellent result there from them. James impressed here with the combat capability of the Skitarii. They're meant to have a reputation for shooting, but some of their combat ability here is very, very impressive, and they're fighting against Orcs and prevailing here in a lot of the combats. So a force to be reckoned with for sure. But as we said at the beginning, perhaps one of the strongest counter-attacking armies. James has deployed wisely, keeping these in reserve, and they've burst forwards here in a counter-attack against the Orcs, and it has been successful. Is it enough? We'll have to see. The fighter race here is being held by the Bikers, but James's unit's freed up here and dangerously close. We'll have to see if they're able to capture the relic, the ace, just there. Down here, combat's resolved. James getting enough hits, enough damage. Open-topped explodes result there, killing a number of the tank busters inside. Knob took a wound just with random allocation. Passing morale, but pinned there in the burning wreck. And then James has to remain still. He can't consolidate after fighting against a vehicle, so combat's resolved. Impressive stuff from the Skitarii. Pretty much everything James set out to do is accomplished, so it's a good bounce back from them. We are going to hand over to the Orcs now, their third turn. Orcs still have a number of units. They're leaderless here at the moment, as Gutrippa languishes, wounded inside the crater over there, out of this particular battle. But his troops look forwards. They see a claw raising up from the crater there, waving his troops to carry on. He's out of the fight, but he encourages his remaining boys to get stuck in and continue the battle. So we'll go on to the third turn for the Orcs. They do hold the relic, and they have a chance now to strike back against the Skitarii. Need to be impressive. We've got to stop those combat units there, otherwise the Orcs could lose their grip on this game. So turn 3 coming up for the Orcs next. Alright, so movement for the Orcs here on their turn 3. Got a plan. Game's not over yet. Both sides optimistic here, and then with a chance. So pinned here, no movement from the tank busters just there. Then coming across, backing off 6 inches. That's as fast as we can go with the bikers. Passing dangerous terrain with these 2 bikers here, so we still hold the ace here, who's hitching a ride on the lead biker. That's as far as they can go. So what we've done, passing dangerous terrain, 2 of the Orc vehicles have closed in here, trying to make a solid wall to try and slow James down as he advances. Backing off a few inches there with the tank busters inside the looted wagon. All boys at the top there have disembarked and getting ready to charge in against the Rust Stalkers, as is the lone knob just there, seeking a bit of revenge against that unit. So that is movement done for the Orcs. Both armies losing units here, so it's a smaller game now, as both sides have done damage to each other, but it's going to get interesting now. See if the Orcs can hold on to the fighter race. A lot of Orcs being sacrificed here to save him must be very, very important indeed. We'll go on to no psychic phase. Weird boy's dead. His guts cut open, and there's vomit pouring out all over the crater here. It is smelly. But the Rust Stalkers are alright. They've got filtration masks on, so it's not going to affect them. But we'll go on to shooting phase next for the Orcs on turn 3. Alright, so shooting phase done here. Snapshots coming through and missing there with the tank bus. A little bit of a small battle taking place between these 2 units. Then over here, no damage done on the infiltrators, but the Rust Stalkers being targeted here. 2 instant death hits coming through. James falling in, one saves there. That was fire from the Orc kill cannon on top of the looted wagon. Pass its test. Yeah, don't press that, Norm. no one allowed to press buttons on that vehicle. Then rocket shots coming through here from the tank busters, taking out 2 more Orc boys, firing through, their wounds all being saved just there, but damage coming through on that unit. There's only 2 of them left, and also the Princeps as well, so that's helpful for the Orc boys as they prepare to charge in. Rocket shots coming through from here, and the truck just over there failing to hit the Honor Guard Dune Crawler just over there. James had rolled it will not die roll for that, but failed on the previous turn. So that's it. The bikers couldn't shoot, no target for them. They're just busy dragging the relic away. Rocket shot here as well, just to mention, coming through and missed. So I'm going to go on to combats now. This lone Orc knob here going to try and charge in. Orc boys going to try and charge as well. And that's it. So combats and charges next for the Orcs on turn 3. Alright, so charges have taken place. Orc boys made it in. No damage from Overwatch there with the relic pistol the Princeps was carrying. And then the Orc knob here, following up with a charge here, has made it into combat as well. So big combat taking place just there. We'll get that resolved next. Alright, so combat's resolved over there. Just the Princeps left alive, but both of the Orc knobs killed, one in the challenge, and then one of the Rust Stalkers turning around and killing the other. And yeah, it was pretty impressive. That unit's taken hammering, but still dealing out damage there to the Orcs. Princeps left alive is on a wound. That's the army commander there. So James may want to try and rescue him just to save that victory point. But difficult for him because he does have to keep the overall objective in mind, the relic that's being dragged away here by Zog and his unit of bikers. So difficult decisions to make for the Skitarii now. 2 fresh, or pretty much fresh units here to use. The Walkers freed up as well, and the Princeps fighting away for survival. And then down here, 1 Dragoon left alive as well. So going to the Skitarii third turn. There's no way they're out of the game. They're still in with a chance here. We'll see what James decides to do as we go on to their third turn next. Alright, so moving for the Skitarii here, just really ready to charge in here with the Dragoon. James is taking the risk that he'll survive Overwatch there against those rockets. Then across here, the Infiltrators moving out in this direction, chasing after the Relic. Looks like they're going to go after this Orc transport. Lining up here with the Vanguard, getting ready to lay down some covering fire perhaps in this direction. Moving out in this sort of this way as well. And then the Walker, the Dune Crawler, getting ready to charge into combat to try and save the Princeps. So that's it. That's movement done. We'll go on to shooting phase next for the Skitarii on turn 3. Alright, so just discussing shooting here, James actually doesn't have any, so he has gone for +2 weapon skill this turn for his Doctrine Imperatives, and -1 ballistic skill, but that doesn't matter, no shooting required this turn. So we'll let him do some run moves, actually, if he wants to run those just there. They were headed in this direction, and then we'll roll up some charges. He's going to charge down here, we'll resolve this Overwatch, and the Walker's going to make it into combat, or try to make it into combat there against the Orcs as well, and then also here against the Orc truck. I think he's going to charge with the Infiltrators. Alright, so charge tried to go ahead here, but did get the hit and destroyed a penetrating hit coming through there. James failing Incense Cloud, cover save, and the last Dragoon has gone. So Tank Busters have prevailed here in this mini encounter on this flank. Across here, 5 inches rolled for a run move there with the Vanguards. They're moving up in support and they're making contact. James choosing just to go after the truck here and take that out with the Infiltrators. They're passing a couple of dangerous terrain tests here for going through the burning wreck. Walker's made it into combat. The Onagar has contacted the Orc boys over there. So number of combats to resolve. These two here, we'll get these finished. Alright, so combat's resolved here. The truck was easily destroyed, explodes. James took a wound down here from the resulting explosion. But other than that, it's mission accomplished for them. So Orc truck gone. And over the other side, the Princeps was brought down. It's Army Commander. That's a kill point there, or a victory point there for the Orc boys. Weapons are useless, but we're just happy to carry on there in combat. We did lose one of the Orc boys from a Hammer of Wrath hit from the Walker, so it was a drawn combat. We're going to carry on locking both units down. I think the Orcs will concede that. They're slightly in their advantage, I think. We're just happy to keep that Walker pinned down. So that is combat's resolved. So that is the end of the third turn for the Skitarii. Reckon the Orcs are more comfortable at the moment, but still this dangerous unit of Infiltrators that could cause trouble to any of the Orc units on the table. So Orcs need to be careful. Zog assuming command at the moment here as they continue to try and secure this relic. We'll go on to the Orcs' fourth turn. We'll see if they can finish the Skitarii off. Alright, so moving for the Orcs here. Tank Busters moving out just 3 inches as they clamber out of the cover there. On the hunt here for Skitarii units just in this little valley in the middle. Bikers backing up 6 inches but pulling together now, not stringed out, getting ready to lay down some Daka against the Infiltrators just there. Just a wall of firepower from their bikes should be able to cause some damage. Then some manoeuvring taking place with the Orc vehicles, moving along 6 inches and pivoting just to get the weapon at the right angle there to hit the Vanguard. 12 inches moved, dangerous terrain pass there for the Orc battle wagon, and pivoting there, it's gone 12 inches. Combat continues against the Onagar Dune Crawler, then backing off 12 inches there just to secure line breaker for the Orc truck. So that's all of the movement done for the Orcs. We'll go on to their shooting phase next on turn 4. Right, so shooting phase for the Orcs are pretty effective actually. Tank Busters firing through, and their rocket hits causing a number of wounds. James failing some cover saves. 2 of the Infiltrators brought down just there. Daka coming through here, pretty effective. 3 wounds being caused just there, so that unit has been reduced down. James passing around, but there's only 2 of them left now. James saying he's beginning to run out of models, and it looks like the Orcs are keeping the upper hand at the moment here and holding on to the relic quite comfortably, but it's been a real challenge for them for sure. Then shooting here, the Vanguard, they've held morale, but they've lost a number of models there. That was fire coming through from the Tank Busters, the kill cannon there on the Looty Wagon. Rockets firing through as well from the Tank Busters inside. Rocket fire from here as well on the Battle Wagon, doing some damage. So just Orcs have got too much stuff here at the moment, and the Skitarii just don't have enough steam left in them. An Imperial Knight, we reckon, would complete this army.
How many times have we seen it?
It definitely would help out. You can see the need for it. It would just bring a nice bit of balance to the force here. No Star Wars reference intended there. So shooting phase done for the Orcs. We'll go on to combat. It's just the ongoing melee there. Orcs can't do any damage. We'll let James roll up his dice to see if he can hit with the walker. Right, so James just rolled up there. He's caused a casualty, so we will actually have to do morale, which we pass on a double 1, so no complaints there. Very good. Right, so turn finished. Combat's resolved. We'll hand over to Skitarii, see what they can do on their 4th turn. Alright, so movement done here. James is going to go for it, at least have a chance at charging the relic here. So infiltrators moving through the burning wreck of the flyer, the rough ground and the jungle there, going after the bikers. And then 6 inches moved around here with the vanguard as well. They can either fire in this direction against the hated tank busters, or they may well be in range to lend some fire support through here as well. So James got a number of options. Melee continues up the top there, and that is movement done. So a bit of shooting to do, and then combats. Right, so shooting phase done. James electing to fire down here. It's taken out a number of the tank busters, but they rolled a 7 for morale, so they have passed morale just there. So that unit's still on that flank. Then through here, James realising strength 2, toughness 5, can't wound, so no shooting from the flechette blasters there. But James getting ready to charge, although there's going to be a hail of Overwatch here from these bikers. Yeah, but he has to do it, so it's mission impossible for these two, but brave attempt for sure. We'll go on to assaults next for the Skitarii on turn 4. Alright, so we're going to film this here, the last charge. So Overwatch here, 21 shots, needing 6s. There's 4, there's 5, and then twin linked. Do like the Dakar on the bikers there, another hit. Alright, may well be enough. Strength 5. 2s to wounds, 5 saves. James could survive here. 4+, he gets his full armour. Battle plate here, 4+. He's fouled all of them except 1. So down to feel no pain now. He's got to pass. Doesn't pass any. It is a wipeout. So in a hail of firepower, you can imagine the bullets just shredding these things apart, and Zog sniggering and laughing as the infiltrators are brought down. Just firing into the jungle as they come out. The bikers have brought down really the last attempt there at trying to get a hold of the fighter race. So that's shooting phase finished. There'll be no assaults, but we do have the ongoing combat just at the top. Let James roll a dice to see if he can hit another orc. No, he's fouled. So that is the end of the turn. So turn 4 finished. Yeah, okay. So just discussing the game there, I think it's wise that we concede now. There's just an ongoing melee at the top there. Even if the Orc boys run, James would have to face off against tank busters here and the rockets on the battle wagon as well. And these 5 guys, not much of a chance against the bikers. So then tank busters still alive down here. Valiant attempt from the Skitarii. It was a shock to the Orcs at the start. They made their charge and then halted. Not sure how to deal with a full battle maniple that Skitarii had. An excellent counterattack we saw from James in the mid stage of the game, but it just was not enough to take out enough Orc units to change the game around. It was Zog in the end that secured the objective. It was the aim from the start of the battle, and it's mission accomplished for them. It has cost the Orcs dearly though. Loads of Orc boys being killed. Orc vehicles burning wrecks all across the table, and Gutrippa will have to be pulled from the wreckage over yonder in that crater. But that is the end of the game. We'll get an exact score now for victory points. Alright, so for Skitarii they got first blood and slay the warlord as well. So 2 points scored for them. Orcs do secure the objective, so that's 3 points. Linebreaker is scored for them, 4 points, and then 5 points for slaying the warlord as well. So 5-2 the final score in this game. But great fun, really good to see a pure Skitarii army out there now on the channel. They've been let loose. Lacking in battle experience, that will come in time, and then we think that the 1850 point army will be that much more effective once the Imperial Knight joins them. So Orcs continuing on their run here. Their sort of simple tactics, really, which needs to be simple tactics. It is a simple-minded army of greenskins. Sort of a door slam tactica with them. It's a swinging door that closes in on the opponent and puts pressure on from turn 1 onwards. It's been effective here for the Orcs, but it could have gone the other way. There's some deadly combat units there for the Skitarii. So a promising army for sure. Orcs continue their good run. They are an army on the rise on both channels at the moment. But there it is. Orcs versus Skitarii. Orcs have emerged victorious this time around. At least the fighter ace has been saved. He falls back into Orc hands to be returned to the airstrip to take on a fresh Orc flyer and continue to be a hero. But there it is. That's the battle. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time. Right, so discussing units of the game here, a number of contenders for both sides. Even though James lost, a number of units did impress. The Infiltrators, pretty good from them. Loads of attacks that they're able to get, taking on a number of targets. Ruststalkers, though, James is going to give it to them. Some excellent combat power from those. There is that danger or that weakness of the toughness 3 against instant death and shooting, but in combat they are pretty good. For Orcs, Tank Busters impressed again, causing trouble for the Skitarii. They are a pain to get rid of. They hold off at a distance and lend some excellent fire support. But we're going to go down here. I'm going to give it to the Bikers. Not often they get a unit of the game, but their mission was straightforward. They secured the fighter ace, and then towards the end of the game laid down some deadly Dakka shooting that managed to secure Orcs victory. So I'll give it to Zog and his Bikers on this particular occasion, but that's units of the game for both sides.